Hello.
Hello, episode 817. How's Sarah?
She's doing so good. I'm just like,
you look good. You're glowing.
Thank
you.
you.
Have beautiful hair.
Oh, except I got a bad zit. You know.
Well, thank God, because it's not fair if you get everything. Great hair, great everything.
It's like the estrogen. One fucking day, I forgot to put the patch on, and then it's like I go off it, and then I go back on, and I think that one day made my skin like, oh, what changes? It's like being a teen. It's
infuriating.
It's controlling. I have the dial on puberty right now. Like I can like turn up the estrogen, turn down the estrogen. Like I don't like it. But
it's maddening.
But besides that, it's like, who cares? Whatever. So I got a zit. I got all the other wonderful things in the whole world. Now I can officially announce this.
Oh, what is the official announcement?
That your girl is a homeowner.
Oh, yeah. Someone's got a mortgage, baby.
I did it! All by myself. I'm so excited.
That is great.
I'm
People
so
are
excited.
Going to be so excited for you.
I can't wait to just like decorate my house exactly the way I want it. And I'm never moving again.
Famous last words, everybody.
I'm not. I'm going to, well, at least not for multiple years. Like the fact that I have just like, I'm just in and I don't have to worry about signing another lease. Like I feel, I can't even begin to tell you the feelings of like, I don't know, pride I have over this. That it is the only other time I felt like this where I'm like, oh my God, my whole life is starting. Like, this is like a new, fresh start. It's going to be just for me. I'm prioritizing me. I only felt like this one other time, and it was when I moved to San Francisco. And I remember crossing over the Golden Gate Bridge and thinking like, wow, the world is my oyster. Everything is going to change. And like, that was like before I got cast on the real world. Yes. And I just knew it. I remember I listened to Beautiful Day by U2 as I was crossing over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
And I'll never forget it. It was like perfectly timed.
Your life is a soundtrack.
So I picked out a song for like my first song when I like get my keys and get into my house.
Wow.
And I'm so excited to like listen to that, and it's gonna be so good. And I'm just like stoked. I'm gonna have like my plant babies. I might get a cat. Like
I know. Things are changing in wonderful ways.
Great. I'm like turning into just a stereotypical single lady with a cat.
But you like kind of had felt a little hopeless because of the housing market, especially where you live. And so this is especially sweet because you kind of thought that's not going to happen for you.
I really thought that wasn't going to happen. It was like a miracle, how things always work, like perfect and magical. And I found a place that I really wanted to rent, and just out of curiosity, I was like, let's just see if there are places, like probably not, but and in the exact same neighborhood, like a few doors down, here's this place to buy. And I'm like, and only because the deal had like fell through, like somebody had already like.
Oh, really?
Went to buy this house, and it was on the market for like 24 hours. And I went in and was like,
talk about timing.
I mean,
that freaks me out though, because then I think, well, what if I hadn't done?
Susie, that's what I think. And I'm like, it's not, that's how I know it's meant to, I mean, I just know it. And, you know, and they called me, they were like, okay, we have until 5 p.m. on this day to accept the offer. They called me at 4:48.
Wow.
I was already in the bath, like saying prayers, being like, okay, well, you know what? If that wasn't meant to be, I'll just let it go. I mean, they have it called now, so let me just relax. I'll get in the bathtub. I'll like listen to some nice music. I'll just chill. And then I'm in the bathtub, and they call, and I like jump out, like, yes, hello.
I love that you jump out.
Well, I didn't want it to sound like I was in the bathtub.
So
like,
weird. You're
and then I started crying because I was so happy.
That's
and so
nice.
then I didn't want to be like naked crying in the bathtub. It feels weird to like accept
awkward.
the offer nude.
Yeah. I hear you. Wait, say it again. Say that you're a homeowner.
Oh, I'm a homeowner.
It's so great.
It's so exciting.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, my mom was like, you get to do whatever you want to this place. It's all yours.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever I want. And so I'm so excited. Party at Sarah's.
Yeah, and
so
whenever
that's
you end up finding maybe someone to share your life with, they can move their ass in there.
That is the plan. I am moving nowhere with any. That is why I'm like, nope. I got a mortgage now. I can't move. Can't leave. That is exactly all tied down. That's what I need. You know, there are so many times in my life where I have taken risks on other people or on relationships, on things where like the ball was in somebody else's court, I guess, or it wasn't all within my control. There have only been a few times where I've really done something or like it's not even a risk, really. They wouldn't approve my loan if it were that risky.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, I told myself I was supposed to like this is not risky. This
it's
is
a commitment.
Yes, that is it. I haven't. Ooh, Suze, snaps.
Yeah.
Yes, I haven't committed to myself in a very long time. The last time I think I really did that was the real world and saying like, okay, I'm going to do this thing that everybody else thinks is crazy, but you know, I'm just going to do it for me.
When you moved to Denver, it felt like that a little bit. Yeah. Probably not to you though, because you just wanted that pow, right? You were blinded by the snow. Yeah. But for a lot of people, moving like that can feel like...
Yeah, there were a few of those moments driving there where I'm like, oh my God, I can never go back. And I can never go back because I'm like priced out of, you know, once you leave a place, it's really hard to be able... I could never... Just for funsies, I looked at properties that were the same price, like what I could get in California. Literally not a single home. No. They were like, would you like this mobile home that's falling apart and infested with rats and you probably like would die in there?
That is messed up.
That I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, okay, this is the right thing to do.
Well, everybody's so excited for you, I'm sure, because people really root for you.
Thank you, Suze.
Yeah.
Is it a weird coincidence that Eli's sister owns an apartment in the same complex?
Very weird.
Didn't know that until after I put the offer in.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
sure.
Wait a sec. Yeah.
On my way to my house.
Yeah. But I love her, so it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. And then I'm also extra happy because it was just the Westminster Dog Show. The
How
Kennel
great
Show.
was that? We were watching it.
This is the best time of year for television. I got all the happy stuff. It's like they set us up for summer. They're like, you want to be really excited about getting outside and playing? Watch the Little League World Series. Hello, heartwarming. And also, by the way, I on This Changes Everything had another guest who's a child psychologist on, and she says that she's also moved and touched by Little League World Series, and that she sees changes in men's sports, and we should be very optimistic. So
good.
Yes.
I hope you're both right about that.
Yes, me too. But back to the Westminster Dog Show. Did you see that a miniature poodle won? And then I couldn't help thinking of you because I'm like, Susie needs a poodle.
I said the same thing. I was like, look at Sage. What a beautiful lady.
She's so glamorous. And she like shook her hair and she's like walking. Like, I just love it. It's the cutest. But my favorite
thing. Is she miniature or standard? I think she's
miniature.
Is she really? She looks so big.
She's like very regal looking, but she's a miniature poodle.
It's just all that hair.
But she has like the standard like
look.
Like
styling.
The styling. Sometimes they don't style them that way and then it looks different. But yeah, she's so cute. Yeah, my favorite ever though are the agility courses.
Yes.
The dogs who run. And then there's always like, they rank them by size. And so they have different, like, kind of like weight by boxers.
On the courses.
Yeah, so they'll have different,
like
different.
Boxers.
Yeah, you know how there's like different weight class? There's a different height class so that you're not like having the little Pomeranian race against the Great Dane. But you'd think like, oh, the big dogs, they're going to crush it. The big dogs are so
like clumsy.
Yes, and they are just hilarious. And what can you do when you go out there? You can tell the border collies are like, I can do this, and this is like what I was born to do, and there's nothing else that is important. But some of those big guys are just like, you know, maybe I'd like to go over here and pose for a picture instead.
Yeah.
And they're so funny. And then there's this little Pomeranian who was so fast. And like one crushed it for their height class. It was like 8 inches. And then they had a wiener dog did it. And then they have to make the poles. They lower the poles. So the wiener dog's going over a pole that's like maybe a half an inch off the ground. It's the cutest thing.
The cutest
I've ever seen.
I think, I mean, I'm sure you agree. As wonderful as the dogs are, I really do enjoy watching the owners as well.
Oh, yes.
Because
absolutely.
They're quirky people.
They're the same kind of people who would have a vest with flair.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Do you think they require the female owners to wear those skirts, like pencil skirts? Because why are they all wearing those suits?
That's actually a good question. I wonder if there's like a standard look and pantyhose.
Right.
They're all wearing the nylons with and then doing like the shuffle. There's like it's like a run, but not really. It's almost like the skip where like your feet just just glide. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And maybe it's that they're trying to not bounce. I don't know. Maybe some big chested ladies are trying to just.
And I saw a lot of those.
Yeah, me too. That's why I brought that up because I feel like that. I don't know what.
I don't know either, but I was noticing those curves.
Yeah,
I was.
That's so funny you say that.
Yeah, we need to know more, but we're never going to find out.
Yeah,
the ins and outs of the Westminster Kennel.
No, I want to go to it. A dog
That's
show.
what I said.
Suze.
Yeah, I was why aren't we going to this? This is
we
a hoot.
should definitely go next time. This is
hard
the
to
kind
get
of thing
tickets.
where we're like Sarah and Susie on the. Really, I don't.
Where is it? Where does
I think it's the kind of thing where you think it's hard to get tickets, and then
there's a lot of dog lovers out there.
Yeah, but dog lovers who are going to go sit and watch the dogs. I love it. I'm all for it. Anyways,
We'll look into it.
Okay. What fun things do I have to talk to you?
I know
talk
one
about
fun
today?
thing we got to talk about, and that's our Honey Love leggings and bras.
Amen,
and
sister.
everything else.
Get those girls in the right place. Hey, I bet they would be able to bounce and run and do anything they wanted to if those handlers were wearing that Honey Love cross
they
bra.
should let them wear that to the dog show because that would be talk about agility.
Yes,
right. I'm telling you what, because this stuff is super high quality. My sister won't quit singing the praises. She's like, it makes such a difference.
It really does, and I can see the lines through your dresses, ladies.
Yeah,
these ones you will not.
Yes, this is
makes a difference.
Super high quality shapewear, clothing, soft. You'll be totally comfortable and supported. And that's nice for your confidence and just peace of mind. And just great for working out or everyday life. The bras are wonderful. No bra bulge. None of that. Honey Love is not just supporting women. It's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market. Save 20% off at honeylove.com/braincandy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/braincandy to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Honeys, you deserve this. Free the pain and discomfort. Keep the support with Honey Love. Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, so our friend, but not really friend of me, I guess, Robert Sapolsky. I only say friend of me because Susie one time tried to reach out to him to get him to like sign something for me, and he was like, no.
Yeah. Like I just said, can I send you a book to sign? And he's like, no.
Getting rejected by a nerd is the fucking worst kind of rejection. Because I'm like, hello?
Excuse me.
I don't know. Anyways.
I know, but...
Anyways.
According to him, there's no free will, so he had no say in the matter.
He had no say. Right. Neither did we. But he was recently on Star Talk talking... to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he discussed something called the hungry judge effect.
Okay. That
I had never heard of. Are you familiar with this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so researchers wanted to look at what had the biggest impact on a judge's decisions throughout the day. Like the judge who decides like who's going who's getting paroled and who's getting locked up.
Yeah.
And the biggest indicator, this was a 2011 study, judges were significantly more likely to grant parole at the beginning of the day or closest to a meal break.
Yeah.
So basically, if the judge is hungry, you are shit out of luck, and it's going to be harder for the judge to decide in your favor.
Yeah.
That is really fucked up. Maybe that has a little bit to do about like the decisions are kind of out of our control, and maybe what I could see Robert Sapolsky wanting to talk about, like it's decision fatigue in a way. Also, they get to the point where towards the end of the day, they've made so many decisions they can't.
Yeah, and he would argue, and does in that book that I read, Determined, that is just one of a million external factors that affect your behavior. And it's like, how can you even argue that you're in control when something as simple as like you need a sandwich can put somebody in jail for their life or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's scary.
Yeah.
Did you read the book?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. He probably said that particular thing because he talked about all these factors, but I didn't remember the name of it being the hungry judge effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then I think about that Snickers commercial where they're like, "You're not you when you're hungry," and how that is so true.
And it's everything. It's the temperature. It's how much sleep you got. It's, what the weather is.
The temperature, right?
Yeah.
For sure. That people are more agitated, like
how on comedy shows they always keep the air really cold because people laugh more whenever it's cold. Because when it's warm, you get kind of like sleepy. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That makes so much sense. I always was wondering why it's so damn cold. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just because comedy clubs are always underground, or the ones I'm going to are like cellars.
Yeah, but it makes a difference because, if you're like real warm, when you get like lethargic almost.
Yeah.
You're not going to be laughing.
I haven't experienced you as somebody who suffers from being hangry.
No, that is not something I deal with.
Yeah. How come you're so good at not being like that?
It's probably dysfunctional. It's like I almost enjoy being hungry because of my dysfunctional upbringing about food and how like women should disappear.
It's like in control in that bones. Way. Oh, no.
Probably. Because when I'm hungry, I'm like, I feel virtuous.
Oh, my God.
It's so messed up.
Okay.
But you are a person that needs a snack.
I just saw something on it was some meme on Instagram or something. It was like cute pictures of raccoon explaining it too. And it said, if you think everyone is mad at you, you need to sleep. If you're mad at everyone, you need to eat. And if you're mad at yourself or like grossed out with yourself, you need to take a shower.
Wow. Maybe this explains why I hate everyone. I'm always hungry.
Yeah, because if you get mad, and so then I was staying at my mom's house in Costa Rica, as you know, and we had to get like all these documents, all these forms, and I'm having her wait on hold with Social Security, and the amount of I watched her, like as she got hungrier as the day went on, the tone that was taken. I'm like, oh my God, I do the same thing. We got to eat. I am falling. That my mom is a hungry judge, and that woman at the other end of the line is,
wow. Yeah. What's the remedy though? Like, even if we're just talking about just the judicial system.
Oh,
what is the remedy for these sort of small human, whatever?
Do you think that we're going to go the way of eliminating human error as much as we can through like AI making these kind of decisions?
Well, remember when we talked on the show about how they were doing AI lawyers or something?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
And for a second we were like, they should have AI judges. And then we talked ourselves out of that because AI is racist.
Because AI turns racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we could like, I just feel like I'd rather have a robot than a hungry judge. But I'm saying that as a white woman.
A robot. Ah.
Like AI. An algorithm
That's a real
doing
tough
it.
one.
I know.
I think I'd rather have a hungry judge.
I wonder what a person of color would say.
Yeah. Because don't you think, though, that you could... You remember how I asked you if you would be good in prison? And you were like, yes, I would.
Yep,
because I would
100%.
use my humor. And so I wonder if the reason why I want a hungry judge is because, like, maybe wrongly, I think I could,
convinced that you could soften them up. You could use your fawn
feminine
skills.
wiles.
Yeah.
Whereas
what if you get a
AI
hungry female judge, Suze? See, how dare you?
Way worse.
Assume it was male.
Yeah, I was.
That is funny
like
that I am picturing a hungry judge is only male. And that the female judge wouldn't be doing that. I wonder if it's different, because I feel like women are probably better at maybe not getting.
If you see a judge like Judge Judy, she's real skinny. She's probably not eating a lot. Right. That's probably why she's so fussy and mad all the time.
Angry.
But if you see maybe somebody more robust, you could think, okay, they are
that judge ain't hungry.
Yeah, maybe like they're more committed to their keeping their tummy full.
This is a good theory. Susie's got a theory. I'm for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't like it. Whatever.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
All right. What else do I have to share?
I'll tell you what I do like.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't even know if it's time. It just felt like a good segue. But we love laundry sauce. As you know, they're back in the fold. And we're so happy to have them.
That was like a laundry pun.
It was. See, that's another thing Robert Sapolsky would say. Like, we primed ourselves.
We did. That was fun. Cool.
That was fun. Back in the fold. Get it? Okay. Yeah. And this is the best detergent cooking. And they have like scent boosters. They have dryer sheets. The whole works.
Sheets, so good.
And they make laundry bearable, because I hate doing laundry. Everybody does. And if you're going away on vacation, Sarah, you probably have so much laundry from Costa Rica, unless you were doing it there.
Okay. No, because my mom's like, oh, we do it in the bucket. And I'm like, we do not.
Right. So then you get back from your vacation, you just want to rest, and then you got to do all that laundry. And this makes it pleasant, because this stuff smells like a dream. Amazing scents. Yet they got all the unnecessary ingredients out of the way. No artificial dyes. And it does the job. Elevate your laundry with laundry sauce. Now's the time to experience laundry sauce. Head to laundrysauce.com/braincandy. Use promo code braincandy at checkout for 15% off. That's the best offer you'll find, but must use our code braincandy for 15% off your order. One last time. That's laundrysauce.com/braincandy. Promo code braincandy for 15% off.
Yes. All right. My next story, something I talk about all the time, but I always say, like, I don't know why, and we're probably going to learn about why later, and now we have the answer. Writing is so much better than typing for your brain.
Writing is better than typing.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've always said this to clients, when we've talked about this on here. I think I was talking on This Changed Everything about, like, if you're trying to, like, get over somebody and you have to, like, write down one thing that you don't like about them on a calendar, and you can't just type it out. Like, we can't just, we're too into putting things into notes on the phone and typing everything out. And then we are losing the ability to, I don't know, recall information as much.
Really?
Yeah. And there are studies that show that now they've done studies that show that the effects of writing have way more benefit on remembering things, on learning things. They used this, they started to look at students in preschool. So they looked at how preschool kids developed like an understanding of the alphabet when they were tracing over letters versus when they were just typing them in. And the act of actually performing the movements allowed greater memorization of the words. It activated all these different parts of the brain. And this article that I was reading that was talking about this did such a good job, I thought, of kind of illustrating or giving like an example. It's like, yeah, one of those things are like we know, but how do you kind of prove that or explain that to somebody? And they said, here's a great way to illustrate it. Imagine explaining writing to somebody who does not have any concept of writing. How would you do that?
Right.
How would you explain writing?
Right. So what would you say? Like the creation of symbols.
And you'd also have to describe how you hold a pen.
Oh, yeah.
How you move it, how you put the pen on the page, how much pressure you use, how the pen changes as it moves. All of those kind of things that you're doing are creating maps in your mind. And you know how we've talked about how, what the hell was it called?
The Memory Palace book.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah,
I love that. I'm like, what was it called?
Einstein.
And you know exactly. Man.
Yeah.
This is why we're so good at the
We're a
Newlywed
good team.
Game. Yes, that is exactly it. The Memory Palace. Funny that I forget that.
Walking with Einstein book.
Yeah, it talks about how we remember spaces and like stuff in physical space.
Yes.
More than we remember
Isn't
other
it
concepts.
funny?
If I were to describe typing,
right, it's just manual dexterity only.
punch the letter that corresponds with the number that you want.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so easy. And so just that explanation alone shows how much more goes into thinking about writing, goes into like where we store it in our brains.
Do you think it has
critical.
benefits beyond memory? Like, do you think it helps us process the information
Yes,
in any way? Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it also says that so that's just taking into consideration our physical systems involved. Then they said, then there's your visual system. Your eyes have to take in the information of what you're producing and relay it to your brain. So then it can check that the squiggle on your paper matches the mental model of the script that you're trying to produce. And if there are any areas or errors or deviations, then it has to send a message to change your hand movement to correct the shape, which is so much more involved than hit the F button, hit the delete button, hit the whatever button.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah. And I think we need to go back to more of it because I really worry about kids in schools not getting to write as much and how everybody's typing everything. And
I really screwed Link because he was, during the pandemic, when we moved to Pittsburgh, there was 1 year that he was just homeschooled.
Right.
Because of the whole deal. And that happened to be the year that they taught them penmanship.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know. I was just following this online thing.
Right.
And so then now, not only can he not do it, write in cursive, but he can't read it. And so like when my mom writes stuff like Christmas cards or whatever, he thinks it's funny to try to figure out what it says. Like it's in,
my God.
Wow. Hieroglyphics. And it's funny, but it's sad.
I know.
He's got to learn.
I don't even mean to laugh at it like it's a joke, but I just am so shocked at how just that 1 year of lessons where, we think like, oh, school, like they're out there. What are they learning? And they're just so fucking much, apparently.
So much.
Like one little chapter of not even all of school. That's just the language arts or whatever portion of it, let alone science or math or anything like that.
And even the kids that
changes things.
We're in the classes, you hear like they just don't, because you're not doing it every day like we had to. And so they're not, and they're not even writing teaching. Normally.
They're not.
Some of them aren't even learning it. Yeah.
They're not learning cursive.
Do you think they should, or is it like archaic and antiquated?
I think it, in the same way, we've had this conversation about like modes of transportation where you and I have said we're never going to get rid of walking, even if we had a the easiest way, you know, we see the movie WALL-E where everybody's just in those chairs that kind of like float and move them around where they want to go. And I think there is something so human about walking and about writing or about drawing, because they're kind of related. It's like an expression of symbols in this physical way that I don't think it'll ever truly, like, I don't know, be lost. I think it goes in and out of fashion as we get new tools that are helpful. But this is kind of what we see with, you know, all the children of the people in Silicon Valley who like don't have phones and use blackboards and don't have any of the smart tools, that because those smart tools can be really helpful in so many ways. But I think there are some unintended consequences that we kind of have yet to.
And some of them were intended, meaning, you know, people are profiting off of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's put a smart board in every classroom. Like, please. I wonder who, follow the money on that one.
They're designed to create addiction. That's also an intended consequence that is disturbing, you know.
Yeah.
That we didn't know in the beginning. We know now that it was meant to be like a freaking casino in your hand. But we didn't
Speaking of, this is kind of a change of subject, but have you seen those? Bumble has these ads out, these billboards out that say like celibacy is not the answer.
Yeah,
and
they got into trouble for that.
Tell me, they got,
well,
I don't know
people are
that.
mad. Like women in particular are really mad about it. They were just like, really? You think that's because they were saying, like, what is the alternative to dating? And I think their argument was like, celibacy ain't it. Like, you want to make that choice. And everyone was like, that's gross.
So gross. And I heard that there is just the number of men on dating apps and women is significantly skewed. Like it's a sausage fest out there.
Well, yeah, because I was thinking about that with the story you talked about in Korea, the 5B.
Yeah.
5B. Where women are being like, I'm not getting married. I'm not doing any of this. And it's almost like a strike against the social system that exists right now, where because like I told you this, you know, you are a single lady, so when you date and I hear the stories, I'm so mad. And I'm like, are men okay? No, they aren't. Venmo requests for $10 for a hoagie or whatever, stuff like that.
My God.
I'd be like,
Suze,
get the fuck
stories,
out of here.
it's so bad. It's bad out there. It is bad out there.
You touched my boobs and now you want $10 for a hoagie? Get out of town.
It might sound like she's making a joke, but she is not, because somebody
wanted their $10.
It wasn't even $9 for an acai bowl. That's like such a specific, like I'm so mad about it.
Well,
like
whenever
someone
you
I lived
got
with?
the request, did you think like it was notable, or was it my reaction?
No, it was notable, and I got that. I was like, wow. So
we're nickeling and diming each other.
And I was like, should I ask you for the $5 from buying toilet paper the other day?
Right. Like you put your wiener in me. Are you kidding me?
What are we doing? A woman would never.
Yeah. So I'm saying it's a jungle out there for women.
Oh, God.
Men are not okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm nervous.
I told you what to do. Ladies' night.
I know. Yeah, that's
no.
But then here's the problem.
Don't get pressured into homosexuality.
I don't know how to flirt with women.
Really?
I don't know how to like make
I don't think they're fussy about it. Are they?
Well, how do I feel like I'll give off friend vibes. How do I be like not friend vibes here?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I
well,
tend
how
to
did
do
you
that
do
with
it
men
before?
too.
You just drew them in, right? With vibes?
I had friends that, like, I was like, hey, I like this person, and they, like, made it happen.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still do
the
that.
hard work. Yeah.
If you have your eye on someone.
Yeah. How am I going to do that? I got to leave the house. Oh, Lord.
This is a lot. Okay.
It's so much.
Let's do one thing at a time. You get the house, you get settled.
Right. One thing at a time.
Get the cat.
Get a cat. That attracts women, I hear.
It does.
Yeah.
Attracts me.
All right. What else do we have to talk about?
Yeah, what else?
Okay, this is interesting, I thought. Have you ever wondered why so many Greek and Roman statues have no noses?
Never. I've never wondered that.
So when you think about it, it does seem like there is a disproportionate amount of noses broken off, considering, like, you'd think, okay, well, at first, I was like, well, is there even a story here? Because don't they just break off because, it sticks out. But
no.
That is not the case. We have more statues without noses than other limbs that are missing. And so historians asked why. It said every culture in the ancient world seems to do this. And it's the lost noses have most frequently or most often are purposely removed as a way to undermine the authority figure represented by the statue.
No.
And it was more for that don't worship false idols.
Right.
And they were just going around and chip. They said that the head is really powerful and damage to the head is seen as a particularly effective way of damaging power, whether it's a ruler or a god or even just a private dead person.
Wow.
That all of these, that there was a time period, they said it was roughly around the time of like the Byzantine Empire, where nose mutilation and removal was quite common, even as a punishment like for alive people.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so that is why that same kind of those practices.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was, if you didn't like the person represented in the statue, you might get out like a little chisel thing and take that nose off.
Yep. Yeah. And that's how they know that they were destroyed this way and not just broken off, because they will have chisel marks. They can see the evidence of where people went to destroy it.
Wouldn't you think they would just go ahead and crush the whole thing, or is it too hard to do that? So they're like, we'll just do the nose.
I feel like it's more... It's okay. Wouldn't you say that about people coloring a tooth on those like ads on the like the subway?
Sarah.
Because you're like, why wouldn't you just like rip down the whole ad? That is not as good. Neither is that as effective as blackening out a tooth or drawing a curly mustache on a lady or something.
So it feels like then, at least with the marker, and that is such a good like analogy. That has humor though. Do you think the nose thing was funny back then? They were like, get a load of this, and then, or do you think it was just to dishonor them?
I think maybe just, a little bit of both. So
yeah, it must have been.
It could be a little bit of both. So the Aphrodite in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens has no nose and has a large cross chiseled into her forehead. So a lot of them did this, that this was like a way to say like a ritualistic dethroning of a false idol in a way, where I think that some people were part of it. It was like, we hate that they're doing this and we're making a point. And then they would put a big old cross.
That is so funny.
In their forehead. And yeah, I'll show you this picture. Oh, no. Hang on. You can see the cross.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Chiseled.
I wonder who is that person?
That's Aphrodite.
Why didn't they like her?
Well, she's a Greek god.
Oh, okay.
So goddess. God.
Right.
And so they were like, no, ma'am. We don't like what this represents. We're going to put a big old cross in your forehead. Which...
That's funny.
Yeah. So that is why
Hooligans.
Yeah. Hooligans is right. And there's even... let me find it. So, say like people, they were doing this as like a form of punishment. In Egypt, there was a settlement called Rhinocoalura, which translated to the city of docked noses, where banished criminals whose noses had been sliced off were sent to exile.
I can't believe they survived.
I can't either.
I mean, I know it sounds silly because it is just cartilage and stuff, but it does seem like it goes right into your airway.
Yeah. And your brain real close. And then it feels like that's a place where have you ever had a nosebleed? Fuck. That shit never stops. I've had like 2 in my life, and it's like you think, how is there this much blood in my body? So and I'm a woman who used to get her period monthly. So
why is it like that? Because you know how they always say, like, if you cut your finger, you put it above your head, you know, because once it's above your heart, you know, then the bleeding is lessened.
Yeah.
So you would think that the nose, it's above your heart, but you're right. And chin.
Yeah.
When boxers hit their chin.
Oh my God, that's right. And it
never
stop. That's a good point. There's something about the nosebleed, though. I remember learning what a nosebleed was, and it freaked me the fuck out.
What is it?
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I got them so infrequently that I never bothered to ask. And then when I remember I was at camp, and this kid got nosebleeds all the time, and so I was like, "What the fuck is a nosebleed?" Mm-hmm. And then I learned,
and certain people are prone to them.
Yeah. It's basic. So inside the nose contains these small blood vessels that are close to the surface. And what can happen is that the nasal membranes, if dry out, this is sometimes if it's from like dry air, and the membranes crack and it opens up those blood vessels. So it's basically like no
barrier.
There's no barrier. Yeah. That it's just open and just now bleeding until that barrier grows again, until that mucous membrane seals itself again. Just open.
Sick.
And the pressure too. Like if you blow your nose or if you like sneeze or something, you can like pop one of those blood.
Out. Yeah.
Yes, and then it just keeps bleeding.
Wow.
That seems like a very disgusting thing.
Very unpleasant.
I feel like there was something that you talked about that was a segue into another story that I had. You were talking about nosebleeds. We were talking about...
Oh, you were talking about drawing on posters.
Oh, yeah. Why some things hurt more than others. I also learned why paper cuts hurt so bad.
I have read about this. Their argument, though, is unconvincing to me.
Tell me why you think it's well, what have you heard?
Like the way that they described it was like, it seems like this clean cut.
Right.
It seems like a zip clean as a whistle.
Right.
And microscopically, it's just like jagged brutality.
I brought photo evidence so that you can know. So that is exactly it. We think like a knife, like easy, straight cut. There's no sharp edges to it.
Yeah.
When you look at a piece of paper under a microscope, a piece of paper is just a bunch of fibers pressed together. This is what paper looks like.
Right. Yes, it looks like a rope that's coming undone.
And all of them are sharp little shards. And so there were a few reasons why paper cuts are significantly more painful than other things. Mm-hmm. One, we have the location of the cuts. They occur often on the fingers, and there are more nerve endings. They're called, now I'm going to have to pronounce it, nociceptors. Nociceptors. Nociceptors? I don't know, something like that. Highly sensitive. You only have them in your fingers, and they're more prevalent, and they're the most susceptible to pain. Highly sensitive to pain. We got those.
That seems like a design flaw.
Absolutely, it does.
Right.
Like I understand because like we need our fingers to be the most sensitive to be able to feel like, oh, what is that thing?
Yeah.
Like my elbow can't distinguish like, is that a bug I'm touching or is that like, as much as my fingers? So I get it.
They're also like in the line of fire a lot.
Right. And you'd think they'd be more calloused or have more protection for something that could.
Remember, I was making this argument to you the other day because you were trying to, you were claiming that penises and fingers have similar levels of sensitivity, and I was arguing with you.
That's a wild claim I made.
Well, because remember,
what's the answer?
Stitches.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Sarah, that's your finger.
Oh, I see. That I was thinking that any penis that's in there is going to feel like my stitches in. That, right. I was like, where, like, could you imagine me just out of nowhere stating that without any context? Like,
right, because Sarah has stitches, of course, from her surgery, and she was wondering, like, if
I could feel them with my fingers.
Yeah.
And I don't want a penis to be able to be like,
what's that?
You know?
Like Sarah, penises aren't that sensitive.
I don't know. How could I know?
There's no way. A finger. This is what I'm saying.
Okay. Do you remember those games that they would like? I don't know. The teachers did this when we were in like elementary school and shit, where they would like hold a bag and they'd be like, "Okay, reach and find this toy," and you reach in. I need you to do an experiment with your husband.
Right.
I need a sealed bag, and I need him to feel around with the tip of his penis
and then
see if he can identify.
Consistent, I will only use like one finger, no like a whole hand, because otherwise he'd have to use 5 penises, right? So it has to be fair. One finger versus one penis.
And then I wanted to see, could he find like the toy car in the bag with his penis? And then see, could he find it with his hand? Like, what's the time difference? What are we talking here? I need to know, like, for science, Susie.
Yeah, this is science. This is
science. This will somehow end up, like, we're going to read 2 years from now. I'm going to come on the show, and I'm going to be like, good news. They've done the study.
Good news.
Turns out you were right. Penis is not as sensitive.
Yeah, there's no way.
Oh, that's very funny.
There's just no need for that. There would be no need for that.
So that's why paper cuts. When I saw that image of a paper cut or of that paper, I was like, well fuckity fuck. That's why.
And it's similar. What?
I'll just never forget. Yes, that jackass where they just held like paper cut and then he did the webbing of his mouth. I would rather watch any gory movie where I know it's fake than I've never had to turn away from and like have been haunted by something more than that scene. Haunted. To this day I have like a visceral reaction. Like,
I suppose they would make the argument that that's also why stubbing your toe hurts so bad, because your feet have all those nerves, and whatever. But
no, that's more related to how bad of a day I'm having.
But 100%. It hurts like heck.
If I am having a bad day, I'll cry over a stubbed toe. Regular day, ooh, ouch, keep walking.
Ouch and keep walking? You're tough.
What's up? I mean, yeah, it hurts like smarts, but like I'm not going to have a breakdown. Like I will have a breakdown if I stub my toe on a bad day. And every time I talk to clients about that, they're always like, yeah, I get that.
I just don't think that our feet need that many nerves is what I mean. What is that about?
Yeah.
Who needs that? Who needs all that action down there? Nobody.
No. But now that I'm a woman who has insoles and orthotics and goes to the podiatrist, I am judging other people's stances. And then you posted something where you're like, oh, maybe Sarah wasn't wrong. And
they sound great. When they describe how they help.
There was this man walking in front of me the other day, and I was like this close to being like, sir, you should get a pair of orthotics or you're going to have back problems. Because he was young, and his feet went in, and I could just tell. I'm like, this is going to be trouble down the road. And I'm like, I can't be that old lady
No,
yet.
I'm glad you kept that to yourself.
I did. I kept it to myself. But here's something that I'm being judgy about, and I'm not keeping it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about how they're... Don't worry, I'm not judging you.
I know, I'm like gearing up.
It's not you I'm judging. So I was on board with like the stick thing, when people were finding sticks and being like, oh. And my fear was that this was like a pet rock thing, how we're like using these in like, oh, I'm finding a stick and it's like, now this is my friend.
It's my favorite
It's my stick,
yeah.
you know? Well, in South Korea, millennials are using pet rocks again to combat loneliness and burnout. And they're going so far as to treat them like pets, dress them up, paint faces on them, give them names and beds.
Sarah.
Companies have started selling these pet rocks as coping mechanisms for loneliness, stress, and burnout.
So mad.
They price between $5 and $11.
People are buying them?
Some selling hundreds per month.
Ay. Get it together, people.
I know. What are we going to do?
People really need to sort some things out.
If I get to the point, listen, I love putting I love a googly eye.
Yeah, sure, that's funny.
I want googly eyes on. If you come to my new house, you may open the refrigerator and see some googly eyes on fruit because
I have a whole pack. I put them on.
It's the
best.
It's
a crowd pleaser.
It is a crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
very fun. But if I ever introduce you to an inanimate object like it is a friend,
besides Lammy,
then you need to have an intervention for me. We need to call Sherry, say Sarah's not talking about something that she needs to be talking about, because I think the problem that we're having, that we're not addressing, is the loneliness and the burnout.
Absolutely.
Instead, we are coming up with all of these solutions, all of these like coping strategies, all of these like care techniques. Oh, this is blah, blah, blah. We really need to deal with the burnout and the loneliness. And
yes. And that rock ain't going to help. In fact, it's probably going to make it worse. Now, I obviously don't love this situation.
I knew you wouldn't. Nor do I. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, how far away is it from the phenomenon that you might be familiar with called the porch goose?
What in the goddamn hell is a porch goose?
Porch geese are very popular in the Midwest, but they could be anywhere. They get a goose. It's like, I don't know, 2 feet tall or something. And it's like usually on their porch or in their yard. And then they like dress it up in like raincoats and different outfits throughout the year.
I think I've seen these. I didn't know that it had a name, but I do know of these geese on porches.
Yeah. So do we, because that's, I wouldn't
whimsical,
have a porch.
Playful.
Yes, it's cute.
I know and I want to go over to whoever's house that is. That they're going to host book club, and I'm going to love it. And they're going to have cookies.
They're going to have like a casserole.
Yeah. Yes, I love this person.
Right, and it seems kind of similar to a pet rock.
And the goods are going to be named something like Quackers.
Right.
I love it.
And even like doll houses.
And you know what? If you really unpack that, it really is a coping strategy for loneliness and boredom and burnout.
Is it? I'm not sure. That's what I'm getting at. Or is it just a hobby because it's fun? It's cute. It's playful.
Ooh.
But what's the difference?
Okay, maybe it's like some of the other things that we've talked about where I said this with the stuffed animal thing. If it then becomes a replacement for real interaction, like that cute little porch goose is like,
that's a conversation starter.
Yes, that encourages. You're like creating
maybe
connection.
That's what the pet rock people are doing. Because is it a community now? They all talk about their rocks.
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
And you said they're dressing them, right?
Yep, and they have beds. Like, can you imagine? You just tuck it in at night.
I betcha
Like
it's similar because they probably talk to each other about rock outfits and stuff.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
But
I mean, who
weird.
am I? I maybe I'm not one to talk because I have been more successful with my to-do list and self-care than ever before because I'm using this little app that it's kind of like a Tamagotchi kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh.
Or just a cute little bird that I take care of. And I can like dress him up and like decorate his house and everything. And the more times I like do things like floss and post for brain candy and perform a 3-minute exercise I enjoy or write one thing positive about the day, then they give me points, and then I could like shop and dress him up. And Susie, I want this to be a partner for our show.
What's it called?
It's called Finch, and I'm obsessed. Okay. And all of my friends are obsessed too. And and all your friends hang out together in the little tree. You can see all your little friends, and you can go visit their houses. Yeah, you really
shouldn't be judging.
No,
the pet rock at this point.
Right. I'm like, mine's just animated. Like, I'm like, I don't know why, but Milo needs breakfast. Hang on.
Milo.
That's his name.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, maybe this is just a nice way to listen. I mean, the truth is, most things that we do are killing time before we die. So I guess if you should pick whatever it is that you like to do to waste time before you die. But I do think you're weird if you have a pet rock and you really care about it.
You know, it's funny that you give me all these nice segues, because the other thing I wanted to talk about was hunger boredom paradigm.
Okay.
And why we all get what happens to.
It is funny.
I know.
Like when you're bored, you can eat and you're not bored anymore. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So bored, there's like, we all know the feeling of being really, really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we don't spend a lot of time stopping and asking ourselves, what kind of hungry am I feeling? And I think anybody with ADHD knows about this boredom hunger. There's almost like the hunger of like you're on a quest to get a different feeling in a way. And they sometimes categorize it as emotional eating. They say boredom hunger, which is where you aren't hungry, but you snack out of boredom. And most of us do this when we watch Netflix, falls into this category of emotional eating. That where even if we aren't overly emotional at the time, stress and boredom mix well together when you're avoiding a task that you find difficult or some other problems that you don't want to address. Yeah, boredom increases eating in an attempt to distract from the present situation of life.
Yeah.
So
it's relatable.
It sure is. And the more the present situation of life becomes unmanageable or difficult, the more we lean to boredom eating, and then it becomes this big, horrible cycle that the most calories and the worst kind of food is consumed during peak times of boredom. And this is even for people who have high levels of self-awareness. Yeah. That there's no amount of self-awareness that can break, that like works.
Because it's about chemicals you want in your brain.
The neuroscience says it's dopamine that we really have to we really have to blame in this. The dopamine is present, and this is our reward center. It's the thing we know over and over again. But there are some cures. They said there are some things that if we can have the awareness to at least ask ourselves, like, am I hungry or bored? That we can respond in a way where we can provide the brain enough novelty or distraction to cure this, or like, I don't know, provide
like you'll get the chemical.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
Yeah.
They said, number one, and it's so annoying when this is number one, drink water. Dehydration. Right. That the majority of the time that we are just thirsty, and that if you can just reach for a glass of water and throw a little bit of something to make it taste better into it. So I'm like, oh, liquid IV, duh. Squeeze some lemon or lime or like anything into it that'll just kind of trick your brain.
Yeah.
Yes. And they also said, keep your mouth busy. This can be anything from chewing a piece of gum to having a conversation. That if you strike up a conversation, have you ever done that where you've gone out with a friend to eat and you're just like, bah, And even if you were so hungry, but like your food has been sitting there the whole time and you're just so busy having conversation, you've almost forgotten. So keeping your mouth busy, even by talking, and do something physical to get a big surge of dopamine. That we could do anything physical, and it could be way more healthy. That you don't necessarily need to put on your running shoes instead of like watching Netflix and binging on popcorn. You could just do some crunches while you're watching Netflix. Or my mom used to always do those like Pilates leg raises, and I used to roll my eyes like, what are you doing?
That was a very
stop.
like 90s Jane Fonda thing.
Now I'm paying $30 a session to go to the gym and do the exact same thing in my floor Pilates classes and everything. So you got to do more of that. So be physical, do that to like send a little dopamine to the brain, and then wait out the boredom. The last thing, it says wait out the boredom to see if you're really hungry. Give yourself 30 minutes to determine whether you're feeling as hunger due to boredom or hunger due to really having to be hungry.
And like when we were in the challenge house is always a useful example because the circumstances are so outside of normal life.
Yes.
That it makes everything more clear. Yeah. So we didn't have TV and books and things, games. So you're bored pretty much all the time. And so when you observe the behaviors that people do to combat that in that environment.
That is so true.
Yeah. And we would really want food. And we didn't have a lot of that either because that's sort of scheduled rather than just like available at all times.
That is such a good point.
But the alcohol was available at pretty much all times. So that was the real pickle we were in.
And we drank when we were bored. Yep, that's for sure.
You're just desperate for some entertainment.
Anything.
Yeah, and your brain just wants those chemicals, and it's hard to find. But we did find
Do something with
a
your
love
mouth.
that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah. Yes, we did. Every time I think about that, it's my longest relationship, I'll tell you.
Yeah, the two loves of my life, Adam and Sarah.
Oh.
Maybe it's because we didn't have enough food. Like, what if? What if that's why and Adam...
We were just so bored, we just kept our mouth running the whole time instead of eating. And so that's how, and thank God for boredom. It brought us closer together. Maybe that's why kids are so good at becoming friends when they're in elementary school and shit. Because they're so bored, they have nothing to do. And then we are so distracted with things as adults that we can't even make friends anymore because we're not bored enough.
Casinos in our hands.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we need to invite in a little bit of boredom, but have the right things to do when it hits. Like not play with the pet rock or eat.
Right. I can't imagine any chemicals coming from a pet rock.
I do love a googly eye on a rock, though, so I can get it in theory.
Now you're into it.
Just again, not as a replacement for actual human connection.
Well, you covered a lot of ground.
Sure did.
A lot of topics you did today. And you got a new house. You've been busy.
Busy. You've got hungry judge effect. Like, make sure if you're ever up for parole that you get scheduled after lunchtime.
They even say that on Shark Tank that they see, I think, 5 entrepreneurs in a filming day. And when you give your pitch makes a big difference. Is it right after lunch or, that kind of thing?
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true of every interaction we have. You should just ask people, you hungry or no?
Yeah. And what you should also stop doing is writing things down.
Yeah. That's a good reminder.
That it's really good for your brain and it stimulates all those different kinds and helps you remember. So keep writing.
Next time you see a poster with a blacked out tooth or like a mustache, just remember this is a tale as old as time.
It is. This is what they like to do. Break the nose off of things.
Whenever people get paper cuts now or stub their toe, they'll think of us. Or when they're hungry or hangry.
Just think of us all the time.
Yeah, and use
while
our
you're thinking of us, use our codes, leave a 5-star review, and make sure that you join so you can chit-chat with us and hear like all of the real fun things that we don't put on air. And our book club and dot club every month.
And that's on our website. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.